Alright, Fig Talk. This is the Toy God doing the first toy review for this channel. And today we have SH Figuarts Bojji and Kage. And here he is. As you can tell, he looks pretty darn good. If you've ever seen the show Ranking of Kings, you can already tell that he just looks spitting image right off the screen. I was pretty excited to get him when I found him. I didn't really quite ever think I would see a Bojji figure, but here we are. I picked this guy up off of Amazon for about 40 bucks. I was pretty surprised when I saw what all he comes with, and we'll go over that in a second. But given everything that he comes with, it's a pretty great price, I think, for a figure that looks so nice. He does come with quite a bit of accessories. He has 5 different face plates. He's got his cape here. He's got 7 hands that he comes with, as well as the hands that are already on him, so 9 hands altogether. And probably one of the coolest parts of this figure is the fact that we do get a small little Kage. He is not posable or movable, but he does look really, really nice when he's sitting there next to Bojji. You also get a sword, which is his little needle sword that he has from the show. You also get a stick from the vital scene when he goes up against his brother, and you have it in a sheath. But as you can see from how his face looks, he has some beautiful looking faces, and the sculpt just looks really nice on this. He does really just pop out as if he just came right off the screen and right into your house, and that's probably the greatest thing about this figure. You can really tell, you get the stuff right here to make Bojji look like he's ready to go to war. And I like the way that this figure does look. If you look at his sword, it looks really nice. Everything looks really well proportionate to him. And you get Kage back here, which that's how he was in the show. Kage was completely behind him, whispering encouragement, trying to get him to do what he needed to do and keep him focused. He's deaf and can't speak. And so seeing him be able to be that strong character is really great. And you're able to get those poses with some of these faces and the way that he's designed. It looks right like it just came off the screen, which is pretty great. He does come with a lot of faces. You're going to get 5 faces with this figure. And like I said, I keep reiterating this, but this needs to be reiterated because this figure, for the amount that you pay for him, to be able to see the amount of faces that he gets is so awesome. I've lovingly called the turtle faces, where he kind of gets that triangle smile on his face, and he comes with 2 different face plates, one where his eyes are closed and one with open. He also gets his ready to go to business face. He's got a big wide open smile, and he also has surprised look as well. So you get a lot of different faces here to give whatever expression you're wanting your Bojji to express in your collection. I think if you are a fan of this show and you are a fan of Bojji, he's just so adorable, and he really does keep that aesthetic. I think it's really hard when you have figures where we get them and there's no life in the face, and I do feel like he has a lot of life in the face, and that's exactly what we want from a character like Bojji, because all of his expression that he does in the show, he has to express without words. So being able to see him do that in this toy is pretty great. He does end up coming with a grand total of 7 other hands, so you're getting 9 hands altogether, and you can, like I said, get so many expressions and poses with those hands as well. And I will say that if you are a person that likes to be able to pose your figures and get different expressions, these hands are going to allow you to do that. With the faces, it's pretty easy to be able to change the faces. It's just a face plate. There is a small little head hairpiece that fits on his head. You just take that off, and then the face unplugs, and you can be able to change those faces as much as you want. I haven't seen any issues where maybe it comes loose or anything like that. It's a pretty secure fit. Now, like I did say, you do get quite a bit of good accessories with this figure. And as you can see, you do also get his sword in the sheath. And he does have a hand where he can kind of hold it. I was looking at some of the pictures online before I bought it, and it looked like that sword sheath was going to pin to his waist, which it does in the show. And I really wish that would have been a thing for this figure, but it's not. It's just he sits in his one hand and holds it very securely and well. but the other hand that kind of cups the bottom of it, it's just a loose fit, but it does fit in there pretty nice. And you can get him like he is ready to go and pull out his needle and go to work. You also do get the stick that he has, so you can be able to redo those scenes like when he was going up against his brother. I really do hope that we end up getting more figures from this line, because being able to see him ready to go like this, if we get a Prince Oaken and we're able to see that matchup of them together, that's going to be a great figure. Or even if we get a King Boss, that might be even the bigger one. It might be something that you really, really enjoy. So, with this figure, there are a few things that I do have problems with. I think the first thing I do have a problem with is the fact that there's no peg or clip on the sheath that allows it to go into the waist and also be held in the hand very securely. I do have a small issue with that. It's not the biggest thing. But also the other thing I do have a problem with, I don't know if it's just my copy, but in the hips, it's a little bit loose. And so because he is more of a top-heavy figure because of the size of the head, and especially you notice it a lot more when you put that cape on, which is something I forgot to talk about. We also actually do get a cape, which is really nice. It does add a little bit extra weight, that it does make it harder to get some of the poses. There are a lot of points of articulation. He's got ankle rockers. He's got single jointed knee, which is kind of annoying, but it's still decently enough for this character. There's a beautiful butterfly joint on this that allows you to get those unguarded poses when you want to maybe put him up as if he's like going up against his brother again. I would say if you have like an action base, you might be able to get even better poses with him. You can get lots of points of articulation, and for the price, like I said, I picked him up for about $40 on Amazon. You do get a lot for your money, and that's pretty great. So with that, I do think this is a great figure. I would rank this high. As someone who has just gotten to collecting the SH Figuarts, I understand that my bank account is going to be hurting, but my heart is very happy with this figure. I think if you're a big fan of this show, if you're a big fan of the little guy becoming the strongest in the universe, this is your show, this is your character, and to see this figure be so expressive, just like he is in the show, is something that I think is, when you're as a toy collector, you want to get that likability so much, and to see that there and nothing really be compromised is pretty great. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you like this. If you like this figure or this show, I would recommend picking it up. Till next time, this is the Toy God. Have a great day.